Welcome to our channel Map to Immigrate. Immigration Minister declares intention to have more in-Canada immigration draws. Draws reference PR selection rounds through pathways like Express Entry Managed programs, wherein candidates from a pool are chosen based on their comprehensive ranking system, CRS, scores, or for specific professional experience or French language ability, and issued invitations to apply ITAs for PR. The minister's comments came as part of an expansive announcement on managing temporary resident levels in Canada to help ease pressures on the country's critical support sectors, like housing, healthcare, and others. Temporary residents are defined as those living or working in Canada on a non-permanent basis, including foreign nationals on a work or study permit who reside in Canada. As part of our efforts for temporary residents to transition to permanent residency, we will have more domestic draws for us, the federal government, and ask provinces and territories taking part in the provincial nominee program to do the same with their allocations, Miller said. What does this mean for newcomers already in Canada? For those who are in Canada on a work or study permit, Miller's comments indicate a potential shift toward targeting more permanent resident candidates already in the country. At this time, it should be noted that it is very difficult to predict how exactly Miller's comments will translate to policy. Such a move is not unprecedented for Canada's immigration system, which has sometimes rewarded candidates who were already in the country. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, held the largest express entry draw in its history, issuing 27,332 invitations to apply ITAs to Canadian Experience Class CEC candidates with a CRS score of 75. This is considerably lower than the average CRS scores for express entry draws. The CEC is one of the express entry managed programs and is Canada's dedicated federal pathway for immigration candidates who have already made inroads into the country's labour market and society. Provincial nominee programs, PNPs, are another example of immigration pathways that often target individuals who have begun integrating into Canadian life. These streams are managed primarily by provincial and territorial governments, who often invite candidates residing in their jurisdiction. As the Immigration Minister is quoted as saying at the start of the article, Miller intends the planned shift towards more domestic draws to work through both federal and provincial pathways at the time of his comment. Why did the Immigration Minister make these comments? By potentially increasing the number of opportunities that temporary residents within Canada have to receive PR, Miller is hoping to choose candidates that more reliably have better immigration outcomes in Canada. There is a rich body of literature to suggest that the pre-immigration Canadian experience is one of the best predictors of better outcomes in Canada. At the same time, this allows the department to meet its immigration targets, highlighted within the Immigration Levels Plan, without adding a new entrant to the economy, which could further add to pressures already felt in Canada in housing, healthcare, and other key support sectors. CEC, Canadian Experience Class Eligibility Criteria. Since 2008, the Canadian Experience Class CEC has offered a major pathway for candidates who have worked in Canada and want to transition to permanent residence. The CEC is a prominent option for temporary foreign workers and international graduates who go on to gain Canadian work experience. The CEC is among the 3 programs managed under Canada's Express Entry system. This comprehensive Canada Visa page provides you with everything you need to know about the CEC. Overview. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, launched the Canadian Experience Class CEC program in 2008 to offer a dedicated skilled worker pathway to temporary foreign workers and international graduates who want to obtain permanent residence status. The CEC has since grown into one of Canada's largest immigration pathways for skilled workers and is regarded as an overwhelming success by governments across Canada, communities, employers, and immigration candidates themselves. What are the benefits of the CEC? The CEC is part of a concerted effort by Canada's federal and provincial governments to encourage more temporary foreign workers and international students to build their futures in Canada. Research by IRCC, Statistics Canada and academics is clear. skilled worker candidates have a major advantage in integrating into the Canadian job market if they have previously lived in the country. The combination of having high human capital criteria, e.g. being young and middle-aged, having high levels of education, work experience and education, plus building social and professional networks in Canada enables CEC immigrants to be very successful in the labour market. In addition to this benefit, candidates with Canadian experience can obtain more comprehensive ranking system, CRS points under express entry. This increases their chances of obtaining permanent residence. Third, CEC candidates who succeed under express entry are usually able to get their permanent residence status within 6 months. A fourth major benefit of the CEC is, unlike the other two express entry programs, candidates who succeed under the CEC do not need to demonstrate to IRCC that they have settlement funds to support themselves financially upon obtaining permanent residence. Eligibility criteria. To be eligible for the CEC, you must meet the following requirements. Have obtained at least 1 year of skilled, professional or technical work experience in Canada within 36 months of the application date, and meet or surpass a Canadian language benchmark, CLB, of 5, initial intermediate, for NOC tier category 2 or 3 jobs, or CLB 7, adequate intermediate proficiency, for NOC tier category 0 or 1 job. Plan to live and work outside of the province of Quebec. Individuals with work experience in Quebec and who plan to reside in Quebec may apply to the Quebec Experience class. 1 year or 12 months of work experience is defined as at least 560 hours of skilled work in Canada. The 560 hours can be obtained through full-time and/or part-time work. Applicants can remain in Canada throughout the application process. However, the Canadian Experience class is also open to individuals who are no longer in Canada, provided that they submit their application within 3 years of leaving their job in Canada. The Canadian Experience class requirements are based on a pass or fail model. If the minimum requirements are met, the applicant is eligible to enter the express entry pool. If you are eligible for the CEC, you may also be eligible for IRCC has unveiled the details of its forthcoming category-based express entry draws. Meeting the eligibility criteria of category-based draws provides you with additional opportunities to be invited for Canadian permanent residence. How the immigration process works with the CEC. IRCC uses express entry to manage skilled worker applications for 3 programs including the CEC. If you have lived in Canada before and gained eligible work experience here, you may be a strong candidate for the CEC. In addition, you may also be eligible for the Federal Skilled Worker Program, FSWP, and if you have a trades background, the Federal Skilled Trades Program. The first step is to ensure you meet the eligibility criteria of the CEC or one of the other express entry programs. If you are eligible, you submit an express entry profile on IRCC's website. Approximately every 2 weeks, IRCC holds express entry draws awarding permanent residence invitations to candidates with the highest CRS scores. CRS scores are determined based on each candidate's human capital characteristics, including their age, education, language skills, work experience, and Canadian experience, among other criteria. If you receive an invitation to apply, ITA, for permanent residence, you need to submit a completed application to IRCC within the specified deadline. IRCC aims to process applications in 6 months or less. Become eligible for the CEC as an international student. International students who go on to graduate from an eligible educational program in Canada are the main group of individuals who gain permanent residence through the CEC. Here is the most common way to obtain Canadian permanent residence through the CEC as an international student. Step 1. Complete your educational program at a Canadian designated learning institution. Step 2. Go to IRCC and apply for a postgraduate work permit, PGWP. Step 3. With your PGWP, obtain at least 160 hours of Canadian work experience in a NOC tier category 0, 1, 2 or 3 job. Step 4. Take an English or French language test designated by IRCC and obtain the minimum Canadian language benchmark, CLB, requirement, a CLB 7 for NOC tier category 0 and 1 work experience, and CLB 5 for NOC tier category 2 and 3 work experience. Step 5. enter the express entry pool. If you secure an invitation to apply, IRCC will aim to process your permanent residence application within 6 months. Become eligible for the CEC as a temporary foreign worker. Temporary foreign workers can become eligible for the Canadian Experience Class program after obtaining 1 year of professional work experience in Canada. Here is the most common way to obtain Canadian permanent residence through the CEC as a temporary foreign worker. Step 1. Get a Canadian work permit. Step 2. Obtain at least 560 hours of Canadian work experience in a NOC tier category 0, 1, 2 or 3 job. Step 3. Take an English or French language test designated by IRCC and obtain the minimum Canadian language benchmark CLB requirement. A CLB 7 for NOC tier category 0 and 1 work experience, and CLB 5 for NOC tier category 2 and 3 work experience. Step 4. Enter the express entry pool. If you secure an invitation to apply, IRCC will aim to process your permanent residence application within 6 months. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the IRCC news. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos exploring the latest advancements and insights in the latest news. For more information contained in the content of this video, www.cicnews.com.